Now, here's the thought, right? And I was just sitting around thinking, maybe I should stop doing that so much. But anyway, something wrong with me. But anyway, I was sitting around thinking, right? We get all of these alerts and notifications and different things sent to our phone, right? Every day, all day long. Why can't we get an alert or something that comes to our phone and says, something just entered our solar system, may not be alone? Wouldn't you want to know? Like, I want to know. I get all these other bogus alerts that I don't want. This is one I would want. Something entering our solar system, I would like to know. I would like to know. How y'all feel about that? Y'all agree? maybe I need to get with somebody and develop that. But anyway, this video here, man, is this satellite's alert system just sent out a warning after something big entered our solar system. So we're going to check this out. If you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Join the fam. Let's check it out.
Every year, thousands of objects approach the Sun and our planet. Although 99% of these can be explained as space debris and other man-made objects, some of them aren't so easy to explain. A recent photograph shows what looks like a giant planet close to the Sun, with users putting forward possible theories for what this object is. Some who have spent time looking through Soho images have said this isn't the first time this thing has shown up, saying that whatever it is huge. UFO believers think the object could be a giant unidentified flying object, while some have theorized that it's a planet, although many disagree with this and say that space agencies most definitely would have picked up on this. Most believers in the unknown have said that these objects are UFOs.
Now, I'm not going to say it's a UFO, but I'm not going to sit here and be naive at the same time and act like even if the space agencies picked up on it, that they would notify us and let us know that it could possibly be a UFO or something like that. I just don't have that type of faith to say they're going to tell us. I'm slowly losing all of that.
And that every year hundreds of these crafts can be found close to the Sun and the Moon. One person said the following: "It's hard to find out what this thing is because we don't have much to go by, but there's definitely something there. In some of the live videos you can see solar winds moving around these objects, telling us that it's hitting something and then being deflected. Perhaps it's natural, but either way it's strange."
It's natural.
While another person said this: "Although I don't believe in the majority of alleged crafts seen close to our Sun, the ones that interact with solar rays are the most interesting, because they can't be explained away as things like space debris or camera anomalies. I've watched these cameras and also the cams from the International Space Station, and in my opinion the majority of these things are man-made, but this one seen close to the Sun definitely isn't that. Firstly, this object is massive, and as I said, it's definitely there because it's interacting with the Sun's rays. I'd be interested to hear what NASA has to say." End quote. With the public having instant access to photographs from the International Space Station and the Sun, there's no shortage of these objects that some say is evidence of advanced life forms. Another object that believers say has been seen close to the Sun is that of a giant craft, going on to say that whatever this thing is, we have photographs of it firing beams into the Sun. Not everyone has got on board with the idea that giant UFOs are firing energy beams into the Sun, but amateur researchers have said they've got photographs of this happening, and that as of right now NASA has failed to explain what these photographs show, with one amateur researcher saying the following: "I've been looking through the Soho..."
That don't look like something. That look like something coming from it. It could be a part of the Sun.
With one amateur researcher saying the following: "I've been looking through the Soho images for years now, and these are some of the most interesting anomalies that you'll see. We are only describing what we see in the images, and it does look like a giant craft is firing a beam of energy into the Sun." Another object that sparked the interest of believers was that of a giant UFO that had 4 arms. They have said that this object has been seen flying around the Sun at different times of the year, and has said it can't be a planet because it's moving too quickly, and it can't be a piece of space debris because it's too big. One user said the following: "Isn't it interesting that NASA always replies to the photos that are easy to explain? We know that the space above our Earth is filled with debris, but they never give us an answer for some of the strange objects that are being photographed. It's like they..."
I know at this point, NASA gotta be used to it. They take a lot of heat from us. They do. Honestly, they do. You know what I mean? But I can't really knock the argument there. You only want to explain the stuff that's pretty much obvious. Nothing that's really hard to tell, need a little bit further explanation or breakdown, closer look. None of that type of stuff you can really explain. Or maybe it's one of the cameras is glitching. That's the other one they try to give to us. I'm just saying. I kind of agree with that statement that was made.
Pick and choose which ones they want to answer. End quote.
Hey.
Interestingly, on the Soho website, NASA did reply to some of these claims, with them saying the following: "The most common sources of UFO claims are planets. These always look very strange in LASCO images, because they're so bright that the image blooms, and the CCD pixels bleed along the readout rows. Some people try to claim that they're flying saucers, based on their appearance. I've also heard the claim that they're previously unknown Saturn-like planets, with rings around them. You can also see what I'm talking about on the Soho hotshot page. Another one is cosmic rays. High energy particles from the solar wind and the galaxy as a whole whip around the Soho spacecraft and interact with the detectors. These produce spots and streaks on the detector ranging from a single pixel to large streaks that span a large fraction of the image. These are most evident during a solar storm, as can be seen on the hotshot page, but are always present at some level. I know that some people have claimed they've seen spacecraft-looking things that seem to be moving around, but which are obviously cosmic rays when examined by experienced observers. People see a cosmic ray at one location in one image, and then another random cosmic ray hits the nearby next image, and they claim that both have the same thing moving between frames. Sometimes you'll see a cosmic ray seem to persist in the web images for 2 or more frames. This is because we lose a certain percent of the data coming down from the spacecraft. In LASCO, such losses appear as square blocks in the image.
I didn't know that. That's the first time I've ever heard that they lose some data like that. I've never heard that before.
This is because we lose a certain percent of the data coming down from the spacecraft.
Wow.
In LASCO, such losses appear as square blocks in the image. The software that puts the images on the web will fill in these blocks from the last good image, and if there's a cosmic ray in that block from the previous image, it will appear in this image as well. The thing to check for is to look for the raw data files, which are also available on the web through the Soho catalog interface. Software glitches. Occasionally we'll have some problems with the software which produce the images for the web, and strange artifacts will appear in the data. These glitches are usually corrected within a few days. In fact, we've had a couple of instances of that recently." End quote. NASA ended by saying that the space agency has never captured a UFO on camera, and has always been truthful about the objects in their photographs.
Okay.
As of right now though...
How many of y'all believe that? Honestly, honest question. Huh? How many of y'all believe that? And I'd be willing to bet, no amount of money, that over half of y'all don't believe that. Seriously.
Been truthful.
And I think they know that as well.
The space agency has never captured a UFO on camera, and has always been truthful about the objects in their photographs. As of right now though, amateur researchers have said they don't think these photographs show space debris, or things like camera anomalies. The goal of many space agencies at the moment is to explore the Martian surface, and identify if there's any life currently on or underneath the planet's surface. Various Mars rovers have made discoveries that have helped us to better understand the Martian terrain, weather and overall environment. These rovers even have onboard laboratories, meaning they can conduct a variety of different experiments while on the Red Planet. NASA said the following on their website. The Mars 2020 Perseverance rover mission is part of NASA's Mars Exploration Program, a long-term effort of robotic exploration on the Red Planet. The mission addresses high-priority science goals for Mars exploration, including key questions about the potential for life on Mars. Perseverance takes the next step by not only seeking signs of habitable conditions on Mars, but also searching for signs of past microbial life itself.
And that's what I'm waiting on. What's the next step? We saw one video that explained to us that they could possibly have microorganisms up under the surface of Mars, because they might have found water there. So it could be subsurface. So now I'm like, okay, so what's next? What's our next course of action? Do we have something in the development stage as something going on past rover? And we do. So I'm just waiting on the date and everything like that. But you know, it's going to be a while. There's a lot of money has to go into that. Because remember, this rover had, I think it had an incident to where it was having trouble trying to get the ground samples. So even this one was having its trouble. So the next one, you know, is going to be 10 times better.
The rover introduces a drill that can collect core samples of the most promising rocks and soils, and set them aside in a cache on the surface of Mars. A future mission could potentially return these samples to Earth. That would help scientists study these samples in laboratories, with special room-size equipment that would be too large to take to Mars. End quote. Ever since the Perseverance rover was launched though, various online users have reported seeing mysterious artifacts on the surface, with one of the most recent ones being this one. It was shared to online groups that investigate strange artifacts on the Martian surface, and those who saw the image agreed that it looks like mold or mushrooms growing on the rock. Some users said that the fungus grew on the Martian surface within a few days, and said that they don't look like pieces of rock. Others carried on from this and said that for years NASA has been capturing life on Mars, but has failed to further examine these photographs. Dr. Regina Das, of the Department of Microbiology School of Life Sciences in India, said that the photographs are interesting, saying the following. There are no geological or other forces on Earth which can produce sedimentary structures, by the hundreds which have mushroom shapes, stems, stalks and shed what looks like spores on the surrounding surface. In fact, 15 specimens were photographed by NASA growing out of the ground in just 3 days. Although Dr. Edwin Kind, a planetary geoscientist at the University of Chicago, said the following. I don't know who reviewed the paper, but I would take away their license as a biologist, especially as a microbiologist.
Why?
These features are well understood. They are abiotic features caused by siltation abrasion, or wind erosion. Numerous examples have been inspected by rovers. They are not fungi. End quote. Dr. Vincenzo Rizzo, a National Research Council biologist, also made some interesting comments about the photographs, saying the following. As we detail in our article, 90% of terrestrial methane is biological in origin, and seasonal fluctuations in atmospheric methane are directly correlated with plant growth and death cycles. The cyclic fluctuations in Martian methane is reflected of active biology, which is also depicted in before and after pictures of specimens photographed by NASA.
Okay.
Interestingly, some took this further and said that NASA need to be held accountable for not investigating these photographs. Going back in 2014, it was announced that NASA was being sued because they didn't investigate an alleged life form on the Red Planet. The original image showed what looked like a Mars rock appearing in front of the Mars rover, and when people saw it they claimed that it must have been proof of life on Mars. Mr. Joseph was one of the individuals behind the claim, and said that NASA should be investigating what appears to be alien life on Mars, but said that it's odd that NASA refuses to look into what was captured by the Martian rover.
Now, that don't make you sit back and go, why? Why the hesitancy? Now, when you do things like that, you leave room for speculation. And for me, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to say, so maybe you don't want to investigate because you already know. And you've already found something. And there's no need for you to investigate what you already know. See what my mind will start to do? And I'm just little old me, you know what I mean? But at the same time, bro, it's a lot of people that want answers. Heck, you talking about putting people there one day. Don't you think you should communicate to them what you're finding? And see, then that makes me think as well, okay, maybe it's something tied to some monetary gain. What did you find up there? Maybe it's not something alien form, but maybe it's something of value that you don't want others to pick up on. Because that's been one of my theories for the longest as well. Everyone's in a race to get here because they all are aware of something of value there. See?
Mr. Joseph said the following about the image. It's actually a mushroom-like fungus, a composite organism consisting of colonies of bacteria, and these can be found on Earth. I want to compel and order the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and its Chief Administrator Charles Bolden to perform a public scientific and statutory duty, which is to closely photograph and thoroughly scientifically examine and investigate a biological organism which was identified and thus discovered and photographed on Mars by NASA's rover Opportunity in January 2014, and which NASA referred to in a press release as unlike anything we've seen before. We are totally confused. Although it sounds like an odd request, NASA themselves did say that the photograph was of interest. In fact, Steve Squires reported that the origin of the artifact is a mystery, and that he and his team who further looked into it couldn't explain what it was, and were baffled by its appearance. The team did say though that it's likely not a rock, but that it could be something like a meteorite. Another idea was that this could just be a rock that was flipped. Online users though don't buy into this idea, and have asked NASA to conduct further research around the area to determine what the object is.
But they speak about it like it's a suspect in a crime investigation. Well, you know how when the police brief everyone, we have a subject of interest. Right now, we're not releasing that to the public. That's what it sounded like to us, NASA. You're treating us the exact same way.
As of right now, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration have said that these photographs don't show life, and that they have examined some of these alleged artifacts further and no life was present. Again though, some have criticised the space agency and said that some of these discoveries have been left, and that they're only brought to light when amateur researchers happen to find them in NASA's Mars library. NASA officials have also said that people should only listen to them and their scientists when it comes to Mars discoveries.
Whoa.
Saying that they're the ones who know about what's going on in and around Mars, and that anyone—
But if you not giving us the information, why should we trust you? See, more of these experienced researchers need to come forward, because y'all only feel like y'all need to respond to us is when they call y'all out. Y'all don't take it from when we call y'all. When they call y'all out, then y'all respond. So more of them need to start coming forward.
Anyone telling you that there's life on Mars is wrong, and that these claims are not backed up with scientific evidence. So what do you make of these interesting photographs? Do you think they show signs of life on Mars, or are they just Mars rocks? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working.
Yeah. More of them need to come forward, bro. Because with these experienced researchers calling them out saying, no, y'all need to investigate that. that's this. And the reason why it could be possibly this is because of this. And I have this research and history that I've done for so many years that I have experience in to back up these claims that I'm having right now. We need more of them to come forward. Seriously. And maybe we can get the answers that we so desperately deserve. Simple. Y'all get at me in the comment section though, man, and let me know what y'all thought about this and how you feel. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Leave a like. I'm gone. Peace.